Welcome to How This Course Works for Innovation Project Leaders Instructor-Led version. We teach this course in both an instructor-led version and a self-paced version, and within the instructor-led types, we have 3 different cohort modalities. One is a full-time job for 4 weeks, just as though you went away to a school. 2 is a part-time job for 8 weeks, and then the third way we teach the same material is over a 15-week time frame as though you were taking a night school class. This is graduate level information, and at the end of this course, you'll be able to reach that highest level of learning where you can actually create solutions. That also means there's a lot of work to be done. There are a lot of perfectly valid courses where you can go and read some material, listen to some podcasts, maybe listen in on a lecture, take a quiz, take a test, and you'll actually learn something, get value from that course. But you won't get to that highest level of learning because you've actually got to go out and apply what you've heard and listened to in the real world. That's what's different about this course. You're going to go out and engage with beneficiaries to see if you actually learned what you thought you learned when you listened to the lessons. A key part of how this course works is that each student will submit a problem they're going to work on throughout the course. We'll take all the problem submissions from all the students, then we'll put them out to everyone else so you can mark which ones you want to work on. We'll make team assignments based on problem preference. Look, if you're signing up for the course and you already know you want to be on a team with someone, that's great. Let us know at the beginning, and that's how we'll assign the teams. This course runs a little differently than something you may have seen in the past. It's a flipped classroom. I'll show you what that means as an example of how we flow between lessons. Starting in the middle of the day of your lesson, you'll submit a blog and you'll submit your slides. You'll get feedback on both prior to your presentation later that evening. The blog is where you go and you demonstrate the lesson objectives you were supposed to master during this block of instruction through writing about your engagements with beneficiaries. You'll put this together as a team. The slides are very similar. You'll coordinate as a team to put together a very short 8 to 10 minute slide presentation where you're specifically talking about the lesson objectives you were working towards for your problem in the class. The last part of each class is an advanced lecture that I'll deliver for about 15 or 20 minutes. That kicks off your next block of instruction. So after you get the advanced lecture, you'll go back, you'll read, watch, listen to the assignments that you have. Then you'll get into the really key learning activity throughout the course, which is beneficiary engagements. This is what takes the most time, but it's by far where the most learning happens when you take what you've listened to and what you've watched and you apply it with real people to see if it helps you solve the problem that you selected for the course. From there, again, you're going to submit your blog, your slides, get feedback, come into class, flipped classroom presentation, advanced lecture, and on through the same process until we complete the course. All the assignments for this course are in the learning management system Moodle. It's very similar to other systems you see at other universities like Canvas or Blackboard. Everything that you'll need to read, watch, listen to, and other items for the course will be found in Moodle. Where you're actually going to upload your information and get feedback is initially in Slack. Now, what you'll put in Slack are links to your blog and your slides and the other things you create. And the reason we do this here is because it gives all the instructors and mentors who join us in the class a place where they can give you their feedback before you present in class. You'll get to hear from many of them twice. We'll create a G Drive folder for you and your team to upload your blog, upload your slides. You make a copy of the link to those slides. That's what you put in Slack. We use these 2 systems so that we've got a place everyone can access the information. We've got a usable system like Slack to do threaded conversations, to have back and forth between students and me, students and mentors to collaborate to help folks when they have questions. Your blogs. I'll give you a format for the blogs, but here's the essence of what you're trying to do. Take the lesson objectives for that specific lesson, talk about how you applied them in your engagement with beneficiaries, and talk about them by telling the stories of those beneficiary engagements. One of the things that's going to be very counterintuitive for you is that stories where you got it wrong are probably the most valuable ones. When you go out and you tell someone that you think this is the problem and they tell you that's not the problem at all, and that shows up in your blog and later in your slides, that demonstrates that you've done the work and you're starting to do the key activity, which is learn when to pivot, that makes the difference between innovators and people who try to innovate. Lastly, your class slides. I'll give you a template for the things you're supposed to cover in class. You need to personalize it, give your team a name, but we want you to cover the lesson objectives. And this is where you're synchronously going to provide the same kind of stories you were talking about in your blog and make the connection so that we can understand as a group, myself, the mentors and advisors, what it is you're trying to achieve so we can give you the good feedback. Pro tip, pictures. Get pictures when you do your engagements with beneficiaries and put them in your slides. It'll make a big difference when you get to the final. For that final presentation, show the evidence. That's what it's all about. You've done all the work. Now lay out the facts that support your conclusions. It's not enough to talk about what you just did. You're going to have to lay out a few next steps so that the people receiving your presentation have options to give you advice on what you can do, or they may be able to consume your information and give it to a next team to move the ball forward. If you've done the work in your blog and you've done the work in your slides, then you'll have all the content you need for this final presentation. And that's the course. It's a graduate level education and it's graduate level work. If you want that level of learning and understanding, come join us.